Hi, you're watching The Tattooed Psychic. I am the Tattooed Psychic, and today I'm so honored. I'm going to cry. I'm so happy because I've been wanting her to be a guest on my shows for a long time. But my beautiful soul sister, and I have her tattooed on me. She's one of my feathers. Jelina Howard, my healing sister friend. I don't know. I love you so much. Hi.
Hello, beautiful. It's such an honor to be here with you and like to see your face on screen. It feels like it's been forever.
It
Let's
has
see
been
that.
forever. It
Yeah,
really has. It's We met years ago in Seattle at, I believe we met through Tenzing Momo or through the Pike Place Market. We both are Tenzing Momo blood family. And that was, yeah, because we both worked at Tenzing Momo. Not at the same time, though. You
yeah.
worked
No, we
years
were there at the
before
same
me.
time. You had just started doing your readings. It was like 2002.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, I was just an innocent little 21, 22-year-old working behind the counter,
You
learning
were.
everything I could and learning from you and being like, what's she doing over there? Can I get her name? Stalking on you.
I had a lot of stalkers at one time. Uh, so, okay, Jelina has taken a journey, and as we all have as healing and as healers and women, right? So I haven't talked to you in so long. And so what are you doing? Are you practicing your work? Are you having a business? What's going on?
It's really been fun. So I moved back to Wisconsin in 2016 and restarted my healing practice, massage work, cranial sacral work, sound healing. And then the pandemic hit, and so everything kind of put the brakes on. I was working for a chiropractor also during that time, which was kind of kept my head above water, like financially and things like that. And then like a year or two after pandemic stuff, I was able to really throw myself back into my business and do the speaking of women helping women, do it's the aid of another massage therapist friend who's leaving town. She was leaving town and she told all of her clients to come to me. Before that, I had a really small client base, very small, like trying really hard. It's hard to start a new business somewhere. I had a really successful practice in Seattle, and then to try to restart that in Wisconsin after a pandemic was a little, it's tough. But anyway, she leaves and tells all of her clients to come to me, and now my practice, 2 years later, is thriving. And I just booked I'm going to be doing a yoga retreat with a sister friend that's in Superior, doing some sound healing stuff and some craniosacral stuff. And it's been really fun. Eau Claire has changed a lot since the 90s when I left here. Chiropractic was about as new as you got. It was very conservative here. And now it's just lots, there's a lot of really good stuff going on. There's a lot of opportunity to share this healing work, and everyone's really open to receive it. And there's a lot of people doing sound baths. There's lots of different acupuncture clinics that have opened. Um, there's still only one gay bar in town, but we're working on that. But there's just lots of good stuff happening here, and the community is really strong. So I'm excited to be on this kind of like new wave of Eau Claire area. So yeah, I've been working pretty much every day.
I actually looked up Eau Claire, and it is a growing, um, thriving community, honestly. And that's pretty cool that you're doing that. I honestly haven't been doing a lot of spirit work, honestly. Mostly on myself. I've done a lot of, this is my 5 year no drinking, no drugs this week,
Yeah,
actually, today,
that's
February 5th. Is it 5th? Yeah. And it's a full
nice.
moon, which is awesome. Yeah. And so, very happy about that. But you know what, Julia, I can be honest with you, and it's going to be on a YouTube channel. I had to really, really reevaluate my connection with spirit. Did I trust it anymore? Was it even real? Was it genuine? Maybe I'm just really good at reading people, and maybe all that other stuff was fake. And I don't know. I just really lost my trust with spirit. And I had to really go back in time and really do some work. And I've been doing a lot of cellular work. which is going back and re-triggering from childhood, memories and experiences that I've harbored inside of my cells, which have caused a lot of my issues in life. And there's Spirit Talk. And
Sorry, making a
that's
little
okay.
crying noise on the floor. I had to go get her.
Yeah, I know, I understand. Everybody knows about me and beans. But so that's what I've been doing. And then recently, the past probably past 4 or 5 months, Spirit came back to me, and it's been a really great journey. And then I've just committed. I mean, I've been doing 4 or 5 hours a day, just constantly meditating with Spirit, constantly remembering the connection with the universe, and then seeing it manifesting into my life and going, it's like I'm falling in love again with Spirit. That's what it is. I fell out of love. It was a bad relationship.
It happens sometimes.
It does.
What do you do when you lose your faith, or when you lose like your connection? Because it happens with all of us sometimes, especially those of us that really get deep into spirit work, deep into shamanic work.
Right.
What do we do with that? How do we go back into the cave and kind of replenish and recharge and regenerate and make that reconnection to spirit? Because I've had a lot of, we've all had good dark nights of the soul where we think, oh, this is all bullshit. Is spirit really there? Is it? And then it comes back stronger and louder than before. And so, like, you just got to tell yourself, okay, I've been through this before where I've lost the faith. How do I get my grounding back and know that, spirit always has my back, or, I am just a child of the universe. I am God. I am a part of the great I am.
Right. It is. It's about, it is, it's a commitment is what it is, and, I have a lot of people approach me, Jelina, to be their teacher, which I knew would happen because I personally don't really want to make a living doing readings anymore. That was my past. I would rather be a mentor, teacher, talk show host. You know what I mean? And I do, have a lot of people approach me for that, to have me teach them what I know. However, none of them really make it because they don't understand. It's not like 1, 2, 3, everything's okay. This is a commitment. Like I said, I'm doing 4 or 5 hours a day where nothing else matters except my mission to achieve what I have to. And that's the level it takes. You have to, that's how the tattooed psychic made it. I shit showed myself to the point where I believed it so much it actually fucking happened. In my head, I was fucking huge, man. In my head, I was just like, I'm fucking doing everything, man. I can change your life left and right. And it happened.
Well, that's how all manifestation works, right? Like, it all starts with the thought, and then it becomes.
But what I learned is it also works with the negative aspects of life, too. I believed so much that I was such a piece of shit and unworthy of love. And then, because my ex tried to kill me, that was a whole journey in itself. I'll tell you what, when you see death, it changes you. It does. And I'm always looking over my shoulder now. I can't sit in a place if my back is to anything, that type of thing, because I got attacked from behind. And so it's, there's a lot there. And so I realized that it works both ways. And so I got so pissed off at myself, Jelina, that I said, you know what, fuck this. I don't like this feeling. So I'm going to fucking use this and be that magnificent light being that I know I am without all the fucked up baggage now. Now I can be the authentic teacher, healer, reader. I still give readings, but I pick and choose,
We get stronger from these challenges, though, even though, like, it really cuts us off at the knees, or, makes us fall to our knees, and beg, like, God, why am I going?
All the time.
But, I mean, on the other side is the growth, and there is the PTSD, though, too. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. And getting over that, learning to trust yourself, to trust spirit, to trust other humans. That's hard. That can be really hard.
Is. But that's where that commitment comes in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The training of the brain, that, as I call it.
Yeah, and every time we fall, we get back up and we're a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal. At least I've seen it go the other way though too. I've got an individual in my life that I love very much who is going through some really hard stuff, and instead of them trusting that it'll make them stronger in the process, I'm watching them succumb to like a lot of negativity and a lot of pessimism and a lot of like fuck the world kind of
I've been
mindset.
there. Yeah.
It's killing me though to watch them do this, because as they're in this, I'm watching them just attract more
Yeah.
bullshit. I'm watching them attract more negativity, more bad situations in their life that, I don't know, it's all our karma and dharma to work out and burn through, but it's just hard to watch and to witness when you love someone and you've got a lot of light and they're just kind of, you know, falling, and not doing anything to pick themselves up. I know, like, in my really dark night soul, even though, like, I was going through a lot of pain, there was always a trust that I would come out on the other side. And I wouldn't, like, and I wouldn't hate because of my experience. There would be no hate. There wouldn't be any, like, you know, fuck the world or fuck God or fuck all of you people. I knew on the other side, you know, I would be stronger and there'd be a lesson, even though you don't know how long it's going to last. So,
And I look at it like this because Spirit has taught me this, that every experience I've had, I will eventually meet someone who has that experience. And so I will have to teach them or be their hand or be whatever they need me to be at that moment. Uh, Even if it's just, I've had people just not even talk to me and just cry on, you know, crying
yeah,
to me. And sometimes that's all we are there for, is we are the healers who do that, some of us. And so I understand my mission. I know that I have a mission here now. That's what what I have learned in the past few months is, oh, this is a mission. I have a fucking, like, this is, all this has happened to me. And Spirit goes, why do you think we have, I'm getting emotional talking about it, but it's like, Spirit literally looked at me and said, Faye, why do you think we have programmed you since you were little? Like, we've been here since you were in the womb. We've been here. Like, you have a mission. This is to help other people. And we all do. It's not just me.
no,
Every
yeah,
yeah, we all have a mission, but this happens to be mine.
And I was listening to a great Ram Dass talk about that. I'm going to take you into the other room real quick. My other dog just walked in. He opened up the front door, and it's like -2 degrees right now.
Oh my God, Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah, come to Wisconsin. Come up here, you'll love it. But it's -2.
We're actually kind of feeling spring. I was talking to my beautiful barista this morning. It's happening here, but yeah. Um, but yeah, so we were on a mission, and or whatever you want to call it, a life path, whatever the term is. But I think some people's mission is to get other people through this journey, honestly, and to, yeah,
We can only take people as far as we found ourselves. So,
right,
like when I sit with my clients and I'm doing intake, like I had a wonderful woman in my office yesterday. She's in her early 60s maybe, and she told me that she's like, I think I'm finally ready to leave my husband. And we had such a great conversation, and she's a couple, you know, she's like 20 years older than me, and has a lot of wisdom to give to me. But I was in the position of being the facilitator in that situation.
right,
And because because I've been in abusive relationships, because I've had to leave people that I love that weren't good for me and weren't treating me right.
right,
I was able to talk to her woman to woman, or advice wasn't exactly what I was giving her, but hold a space for her, of great compassion and understanding, and like heart to heart, like I see you, because I really did see her, because I've been there too, and we can only take people as far as we've been ourselves. And so it's in those kind of moments where I have a lot of gratitude for the shit that I've been
Right.
through,
Me
you know?
too. Because
Yeah,
sometimes, yeah, I'll be talking to someone, and I don't even like to call them clients anymore. I just call them people. I was having a conversation with someone, and I was remembering, oh, that's why that happened to me, because of this moment right here. This woman is having the same experience. And I will say this: most healing women, especially to the capacity that we are in abusive, we have been in abusive relationships, and I feel that is exactly like you were saying. So we could be that space for that,
yeah.
because how can a person who's never been abused like that understand that conversation? They
Right.
don't.
If I come from a place of deep privilege and
Right.
mom and dad in a sparkling,
And you
nuclear
had a
family,
husband that just worshiped you and gave you love, and you wouldn't even, you'd be like, whatever, man.
I wouldn't be able to relate, and I wouldn't be
No.
able to maybe be just the oak tree that she needed in that session. I mean, because we left, both of us ended that when we ended that session, both of us left that space feeling healed in a really deep way, and it was so good. We were both hugging, there's tears, and she's like, God, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've got such a gift, and I was like, you brought the gift. I just got to do the dance with you. I got to witness what you were bringing. You're the gift. It was your energy that you brought. I
Yeah.
just got to hold the container for you to move in it. And that's where, that's where the specific training and stuff like that comes in. But I mean, what a blessing to be able to share those kind of moments. Like my mom does permanent cosmetic tattooing for
Oh,
her business.
fun.
Tattoos, eyeliner, and eyebrows, and she always says, she's like, you would not believe the stories that these women start sharing with me when I get a needle in their eye. All of a sudden, like, they're telling me about, the deepest, darkest stuff that they haven't talked about with anybody. So a lot of times women will say, like, I haven't told anybody this ever. And it's always really emotional, and it's always really like deep, and
Yeah.
you don't have to be a healer to get to that place. You have to be a person that has empathy and compassion and has walked a path. That's all it
Yeah.
takes. And I think more than ever, we need to have open hearts with one another. Man, is this world? We're all just like, you can just see it in everywhere. Everyone's just dying for like authentic human connection.
Oh my gosh,
It's
is it ever?
all this social media, like Instagram stuff, where everybody's got a perfect life and a perfect this and a perfect that. I think it's super refreshing for us to get radically honest and real
Yeah,
with each other.
I agree. And
That's where I find.
pardon me?
That's what I said. That's what I'm attracted to in people. I find like like my relationship with you. Like we've always just had really deep, real conversations.
Yeah,
Like for
real
the past 20
conversation.
years, I've never really talked about anything other than maybe like, oh, look at that chandelier, that's so cute, or I like
Yeah,
that
the
chain lipstick
sparkly
on you.
stuff.
But really, like you and I have always gotten to meet the bones and the gristle of the stuff, and that's why I hold you in my heart so deep. That's why I hold
Me too.
all the sisters in my life, because we don't sit and trauma bond about we don't like, what I mean. But we don't talk about superficial stuff, or we don't try to put on this like, look at how perfect my everything is. We're real with each other, and
Right,
in that realness comes like the connection and the bonding and the goodness and the community. That's how we build.
right. I agree with you 100%. And I hold those relationships as I get older more and more precious and valuable, you know. And
Yeah.
I think as women, when I see younger women on social media talking about that, I've actually pulled away from social media in the past few months. But I do post a lot of pictures of my dog, I won't lie. But she's so damn cute. But uh, there's this younger generation who puts down older women, and I'm like, that's you guys don't even realize that with the grace of God, you'll be our age one day, and there's no sense in women putting down women. And I'm actually really good friends with women in their 20s. I go have lunch with them. Some of them are younger than my daughter,
Nice.
but because we have these great conversations, and these younger women are so intelligent now. They're just these star children are becoming adults, and it's pretty
Isn't
wild
that
to see. It's pretty cool. I mean, because you can have these kinds of conversations with a 20 something year old who would never, who has so much confidence in herself. She's like, no man's going to hit me. Like, that's not even a thought. Like, no way. Like, they're
you know,
so,
growing
excuse me, I have to have it. They're so aware of who they are as women at that age that I wasn't at that age.
there's a jealousy I have in that because when I was a young woman in the I did my growing up like I was a child in the 80s, like a teenager in the 90s, and then in my 20s and the early 2000s, and it was a really different landscape, and also coming from a really small town in the Midwest where the patriarchy definitely reigned supreme and date rape was a thing and football was king and I don't know. I wish I wish that like I had those kind of roles. And we didn't have the internet. Like I did not grow up with the internet.
Yeah.
I didn't even grow up with running water. I had an outhouse with no running water and then
Well, then, and the women who were portrayed in the media, like let's say Janis Joplin, for example, they were portrayed as crazy, out of control, just her being herself, right? So our examples of women were through media at that time weren't really representative. I'll be honest, I just watched that Pam Anderson on Netflix. I don't know why this is coming up, but it is.
That's amazing. That was so good.
Holy shit! Who knew that this woman was is so amazing, and the love her sons have? Good God! I mean, she raised them
Yeah,
so good, and she's an example. And that wasn't that long ago. Even her own son said that would never happen to a woman today. She gets no money for that Baywatch. She it was exploited and used, and many people made millions of dollars off of her, and she's still the light. Like he says she has no bitterness. She just goes on to the next thing, and she's an inspiration, I think, to many women.
just like that example of Janice that you were using, like the story of Janice is told through the lens of men. Same
Right.
with Anderson, like it was her up and coming popularity or celebrity was also like controlled and framed and told through the eyes of men. And yeah,
Marilyn Monroe. I mean, yeah, we can name it. Even Joan of Arc, for God's sakes.
especially Joan of Arc.
Especially Joan of Arc. She's my hero. I actually drew her card today. Yeah, she is. There's clearly something with me and Joan of Arc. But anyway,
it's great to see young women have so much be so empowered in their voice, in their bodies, in their sexuality,
yes.
in a way, like 20 years ago wasn't at all the case.
No.
It's like 40 years ago. Holy shit! Like the whole reason I came back here, like, and you'll relate. There's not to get too into it, but I had a vision where my mom's mom in past came to me in a vision, and she said, "You're moving back to Wisconsin to heal the family and yourself, and you're also going to heal me." And I was like, I'm not moving back to Wisconsin. That'd be like taking like 10, 15, 20 steps backwards in my life. I felt like that would be a big evolution. And she was like, trust me, you're going back there. You're going to heal. You're going to heal yourself and your mom and me and da 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 da. And so in these past like 4.5 years, holy shit, talk about it's so deep, the healing. It's been really profound. But just watching like and witnessing my mom and like her childhood wounding and her feminine programming and her starting to rewrite the script just through witnessing me. And it's so powerful. It really is powerful.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll never have that healing with my mother. She's still alive, but we haven't spoken, and I don't know. So
It's gonna
many.
be that's gonna be an interesting road for you to cross when she does pass. Because I've got something similar with my father. Like he and I do not have a relationship, and it's a very wounded and traumatic and complicated story. And he doesn't. He lives very. I think he lives in Eau Claire now. He just probably lives like 10 minutes away from where I am, but we haven't spoken in years. And I know that when he does pass, it's going to be very cathartic, but also, oof, that's going to be a big emotional onion to peel open. And I think it'll be like that for you when your mom passes too.
I don't
It'll
think
probably,
so. I don't feel anything about my mom. No, you know what it is? It was
I think
after my grandma died, I went to my grandma's funeral. Well, I'll tell you the story. Okay, so my grandma's on her deathbed. The nurse comes up. My mom is sitting on the bed talking to my grandma. My cousin is there, my friend David, and myself. And the nurse comes up to me and says, "Your grandma shat. Can you guys leave the room so I can change her and then you can come right back in?" And I
how old
said,
are you?
"Yes, of course." So I
How old
told,
are you?
this was 22, May 19th, 2000. So 23 years ago,
Okay.
in my 30s. I had my daughter by then. She was 20 years ago. Yeah, she was
So
just born.
around the
Yeah.
time I met you,
Yes,
around
yeah,
the time I met
probably,
you.
probably.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she didn't answer me, and her back was to me, her head. And I said, "Mom, can you just nod your head if you hear me?" Right? She never talked to me, and she wouldn't nod her head, and I just lost it. It was just this little girl, the rage, this woman. I was a mother now, and I just said, "You know what? Fuck you." I said, "You were never a mother to me." That woman laying in bed dying, that's who my mother was, because my grandmother was more of a mother to me than my mother ever was. And I said, "How dare you do this to me today? Of all fucking days. The day the most important person in my life is fucking dying. You fucking bitch." Finally, I just lost it. And my friend David, he's gay. He was wonderful. He passed away of AIDS, unfortunately. But he grabs me and goes, "Honey, let's go outside." And I was just so upset. And we go outside, and there's this woman smoking, and she has a lung breathing machine, but she's smoking right at the hospital. She's dying. She's like, "Fuck it." And he goes, "You shouldn't smoke; it'll kill you." And I started
Oh
laughing
my
because I was like,
God.
"That's hysterical." And he said, "Honey, I'm really proud of you. You needed to do that." And he calmed me down. I went back in. My mother had the nerve to go up to him and say, "I don't know why she's upset. I was a good mother." And he's like, "Oh, honey," because he found me on the streets begging for money years ago. And he's the one who took me in and made me who I am today, honestly, him and my other gays that found me and rescued me off the streets. But so he knew the story. And yeah, so now and then I wrote after my grandma's funeral, where my mother still refused to look at me or talk to me or my children. I wrote her a letter, and Jelina, I let it out. I
Good,
just said, "I
good.
don't care anymore. I'm tired of begging for you to love me. You just don't, and it's cool. Whatever, man. Just stay the fuck out of my life then, because I don't need this."
Something
You know,
tells
and
me
fuck
that
you. She never approached me. I'm the only kid who wrote a book, who traveled the country doing a show, who at least tries to change the world a little bit, out of all the abuse she put us through. And nothing. Never
as
I'm
an
proud of you, nothing. I'm sorry, nothing.
as a grown woman now, like, can you see that it had absolutely nothing to do with you and everything
Yes.
to do with her own
And
woundedness?
that's why I could probably talk to her. I don't know how our relationship would be, but
It would be
I can
oh,
get it because my mother grew up in concentration camps, and
in a concentration camp.
in a concentration. Well, she didn't grow up in it, but she spent years in there during World War II as a child.
Oh,
Um,
well, that explains a
I
lot.
know, but as a kid, Jelina, your mother's calling you a piece of shit. You're 4 years old, 5 years old. You don't know why she doesn't love you. It's a different perspective.
Wow. Well, I'm actually, honestly, though, I'm okay, everyone has their own unique experience and process it in any way that is for them, but you would think it would do the opposite for her to be in a concentration camp. Like, yes, the trauma, but to abuse your child in that way, I don't know. I think like if you have gone through an experience such as like a concentration camp, you would value life and love, and you know what I mean, and not take anything for granted a single
My
second.
grandmother did, yeah. My grandmother, when she was a grown woman, when she went in, she had children, uh, and she came out. I mean, just so loving and giving, and you didn't leave her house without roses. She had a rose garden that was crazy, and she was an amazing. She was my everything, my grandmother. So yeah, I often questioned that, like, how come but my mother was a child. I'm sure it was very traumatic and all of that. But you're right. All the stuff that happened to me, I didn't do to my children because of that reason. Because I was like, I never want my kids to feel that way. Yeah. So I get it, but yeah. So I wouldn't. When I get the call that she has finally passed, if I ever do, I'll just burn a candle for her and wish her the best, and maybe we'll see each other on the other side. I don't know.
I understand that. I mean, while my dad wasn't abusive towards me, he just wasn't present. And he was the abandonment wound is really deep, and I have worked with that. So I'm still working with it. And I see how I've attracted partners into my life to just mirror that abandonment wound over
Me
and over
too.
and over. It's been a process, to heal that. But we're all just like little kids trapped inside these adult bodies,
Yeah,
just waiting to
healing the
develop.
childhood wounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've
So
had a bit of a cold.
you gotta make I gotta make you one of my mocktails. So this is
Yes.
my new mocktail. Can I tell you what's in it? It's so before we got on the Zoom call, I took about like 3 pounds of ginger root and put it through my juicer and like a whole bag of lemons. And now I've got like this big like liter bottle filled with like straight ginger and lemon juice. So it's ginger and lemon with some coconut water, a little shot of grenadine over ice. And
Wow.
replaced the grenadine with pomegranate, but whatever, I had some grenadine and it had the pomegranate. But it's really good. It's really good. It's got that
Looks
good
good.
light. Yeah, it's delicious. I have like 3 of these a night. I don't even miss alcohol.
I don't
And
either. Let's talk about that for a minute because I do promote sobriety on this show. But um, spirituality, when I see somebody, and this is, we all judge people, and I just encourage people not to drink if they're healers because here's why. It's a proven fact according to spirit that when we drink that alcohol, our guard is down and the lower level entities definitely come in and start taking over. And I can tell you firsthand that definitely happened to me. And so I remember now my Darius always told me you can't drink, you can't do drugs, you can't do those things because the drinking, it's just you can't do it as a healer. And so when I see healers getting drunk, I'm like, oh, you're not, you guys got a long way to go because you got to realize that you're not operating on those levels that you need to operate to see clearly what needs to be done.
well, yeah, they call it spirits for a reason. I mean,
Yes.
it really will. And if you are trying to open up your energetic field to, quote, be a healer or do healing work or connect with spirit, you are opening yourself up. And baby, there is a whole line of things that you can't see just because we are in this 3D reality. There are dimensions upon dimensions and spirits and
And they're
all
becoming
sorts of
clearer. Yeah.
paths
The
that
veils
we
are
can't
thinning.
see. And they want to come in. They are looking for any
They're
opportunity to come
hungry.
in. Yeah, very hungry. And a lot of those lower energies love to feed on fear. They love to feed on sadness and all of those kind of lower vibrations. And yeah, when you start poking holes in your field, that's a great opportunity for those lower vibration thought forms, entities, spirits, whatever you want to call them, to attach. And I've seen
Sometimes they come
it.
in the form of men and other people, but I stopped dating men and I date women now. I don't know if you've known that. It was a weird transition for me. Not really. It felt very natural, but it was like I just woke up one day and I said, you know what? I lost all, it was like overnight. And then I started researching it and I found out that a lot of women my age, in our mid 50s, sometimes in their 40s, that happens. It's like, you know what? This isn't for me. And I'm physically attracted to women now. Which I thought was even more interesting. I'm like, wow, this is for real. This isn't just, oh, I want to date women now because men suck. It was like this genuine, look at spirit. Look, it's like this genuine attraction. I can't explain it. Like I can't even think of a man touching me anymore. Ugh, it's kind of gross. Is that bad?
My deepest relationships have always been with my female friends, and I hold, I'm single, I don't have kids, and I'm still holding this vision that my other single childless female friends, we're all gonna golden girl it up in some
yes, say we do it.
Band somewhere. Let's pool our money and get like a great little spot down in like Bali or something. And just you're in, right? You're in.
I'm into anything. I'm always up for an adventure, that's for sure. And I think no matter how old we get, we should never lose our sense of adventure. And I've been struggling with that too. Let's talk about that because as we get older as women, what I've noticed is we get disrespected more, looked over more. People don't listen to us as much. And I find it very interesting to get older. So I started feeling bad about myself for a long time, honestly, about my age and man, I'm a failure. I could have been something really huge, And Spirit's like, what are you talking about? You are something really huge. And
Faye, stop it.
I know, right? And so but I did, and I think as we get older, we do, and then you're single too at this age, and are we failures and all of that. But what I find is, how do I word it? I can't even imagine anyone coming into my life. Like I can imagine a really cool woman coming into my life, but honestly, she would have to be really independent at the same time because my space is so valuable to me. And I started thinking, God, I'm not even worried about relationships because I've been alone so long.
Amen.
It's okay,
Amen. After getting out of like 20, I was in three relationships with men that each lasted 7 years, and they were like back to back to back. And when this last relationship ended, I stepped away from a little over 2 decades of being in relationships with different men who never really knew me, who never really took the time to get to, and part of that was my fault too. Like I was really guarded because of my childhood and because of my trauma. It was hard to let, kind of like a cat that gets taken away from their mom too soon. It's like, love me, love me, love me. And when nobody tried it, you're like, hey, you're 50. And, that after so long, like I would just like slump against the wall and cry and be like, why am I alone? And like, I'm always gonna be so unlovable and I'm always gonna be alone. And then slowly, I'm like, I've got this cute little house. I've decorated it so cute. You can only see this little blue wall behind me, but I've got the cutest little cottage core shit going on in here. And I got my dog. And I've got like my little yoga studio and I made a little sauna. And now there's like somebody, oh God, they're probably going to listen to this podcast. But now there's like somebody trying to come into my life. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I kind of want to wake up by myself. I like waking up by myself. I like having my mornings to myself.
Right.
I like being able to like, put on a face mask and like eat snacks and hard on my couch by myself, And I don't really want to be cleaning anyone's pubic hair up to the toilet. That's not mine, I don't want to be picking up anyone's socks or messes, or I don't know if I ever want to live with someone again.
Yeah.
Man or woman.
Yeah.
And I do find women extremely extremely attractive. I just haven't met the right
How can you
woman.
not? Yeah.
But if I ever did, I think really get into partnership again, it would be with a woman. I have these two wonderful women that come into my office once a week for body work, and one of them is in her mid-70s, and the other one's in her late 80s, and they've been friends for decades, and they're both extremely, extremely accomplished women. They've done work with the UN and have passed lots of bills and laws to advance women. Like
You
the
froze.
most incredible women. I don't know what.
You're freezing a bit. Oh, we lost her.
They're both two very women that have done a lot of work in the government for the advancement of other women. And think like Ruth Bader Ginsburg kind of status. And now they're both, one of them is, in her late 80s and is getting dementia. And the other one moved here from Russia to be with her.
Sorry,
and they're not.
Oh, sorry, your screen is frozen. There we go. There we go.
But they're
again. There you go.
Hello. They're not
freezing.
Lovers, but am I still freezing?
Sometimes it's just fading in and out. It's Wisconsin.
You're not freezing on my end. But they're not lovers, but they are like, they take care of each other in the most beautiful way. And I just like, that's what I want, something like that when I want my sisters. I want to take care of each other like that. I want the Golden Girls house. I want all the pets.
Yeah, and you can, there's probably, I was looking, you keep freezing, but we can keep talking because it's a podcast as well. That they're out of Washington State. There are a lot of affordable houses out there in Wisconsin, Ohio, that are fairly large, homes. There you go.
Oh, Ohio, right? Like where Dare lives? Holy cow.
Yeah. Beautiful old Victorian 5-bedroom homes. Come on. For $250,000. I mean, I was just like, what? Because in Seattle here, that's $400,000 for 100 square feet.
No, for just like a plot of shitty land or like a house that you need to tear down. Like I remember there was like a house that was literally condemned that went for $800,000.
Oh, we lost you again. We have completely lost you. There you go. Yeah, it is. It's crazy out here, Jelina. I mean, it is, and it's hard. It's hard because you want to connect out here in Seattle and Washington. At least I do, and I want to make community and stuff. But it's a hard place to do that, and that's why we reach out. I think on social media and stuff is to make that connection. I think that social media is so strange. And healers need social media too these days. This is how we connect. I mean, this is how we reach out and meet other healers, because we have lost the old school days where a phone call on a voicemail or a letter, or you know what I mean? Where you write to someone and say, hey, I would like to interview you. And it takes a minute. Do you understand what I'm saying and going with this?
Oh, I do. When I still get a letter in the mail, I am thrilled to the bone. I've got 2 sisters right now that are so good and so sweet about sending me letters, and I get elated when I get the envelope. We should write letters.
We should write letters. I don't write letters to anybody, but I used to write letters all the time back in the day.
Care package, just like send you a care package. And Darren and I would do this too. Just send each other like a little packet of incense, or like the scarf she sent me in the mail.
My friend Christina out in New York does that. I've known her since I was a young teenager, and we were in the punk rock scene in Seattle. And she's a train operator there in New York, and she sends me care packages all the time. I mean, it's just cool shit too. Last time she sent me these beautiful Mexican folk art crosses, 3 of them, are gorgeous. And
Oh, I know Mexican folk art.
you know, I love that. And hey, by the way, I've been doing art. I have an art show up in Seattle right now, and been
Sure.
doing paintings and whatnot. So, you know, I'm trying to expand and
Plug your art show. Where's it at?
Groove City Grind.
Okay, yeah, I know where
You
that
know where
is.
the old Rainier Brewery is in
Of
Seattle?
course.
Yeah, it's right that coffee shop right there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and
Every
there's this really cool space called the Interspace, which my friend Kristen owns. Unfortunately, her health hasn't been that great, so she can't do as many workshops and whatnot, but she has psychic fairs there. So there is a little bit of a community for sure. Uh, but yeah. So do you teach classes online or anything?
I don't teach classes online, but I am collaborating with another massage therapist here just to do some teaching classes. Well, she wants to start a massage school here in Eau Claire. Currently, there's nobody teaching massage, and I think like the technical college is going to start a program, but it's not going to be very good. And I'm so happy, thankful, blessed, all those words. Like I went to a really good school and got to study with really, really good teachers. And the Pacific Northwest just attracts a lot of powerful
Mhm.
healers and teachers. And so I got to take a lot of classes from them. And so I think I bring something really unique to this area because everyone around here got their training like in Wisconsin, like in Eau Claire. It's not, it's very like, McDonald's drive through.
Chiropractic massage.
Yeah, like fast food massage and not like there's not a lot of I like to bring a lot of spiritual aspect and energetic and shamanic work in and things like that. That's I feel like that's really juicy and really
It's
brings
really good. Your massages are amazing. I don't even call them massages; they're more healings.
well,
Uh,
I've had some potent sessions with you, like some of my favorite sessions were with you, like where we both got super healed up with blessed stuff in the office and but yeah, so but yeah, no, that's I would really like to do that because I mean, I'm not my career isn't getting over by any means, but I'm approaching my mid 40s and I've been doing this for almost 20 years and I feel physically fine, but my joints aren't always going to be, when I'm in my 60s, am I still going to want to be like getting up on the table and like walking on people? And it is a lot of physical and energetic output,
yeah,
and
it is.
so I think about that. Like like my mom is in her mid 60s right now, and she's still doing the tattoo work, but she had her colon ruptured 10 years ago, and she has a lot of just kind of like pain and things like that side effects that from the surgery. I don't know, like so she can't really do as many clients as she used to, right? So she's like trying to figure out how to rework that. So I'm looking at her being like, yeah, someday what if I have an injury and I can't do the work that I can consistently do now? So yeah, I need to figure out if that looks like teaching, if that looks like mentoring, if that looks like, I've also have always been really, herbalism is my first love. So, you know, maybe opening up a shop or something online where I'm selling all my little brouhahas and
I still
essential
have some of
oils.
your brouhahas actually.
Yeah.
Yes, your brouhahas are awesome. That's a really great idea, actually. And here's another thing that's coming to me from Spirit is even opening up a little shop there in O'Hare or what's it called O'Hare
Okay.
and Eau Claire because with this growing interest in spirituality, people need tools. People need like a mini Tinzing Momo type shop where people can have those come in and get readings. Hell, I even moved to Wisconsin to be a reader there, and so this is a
Congrats.
possibility. Just saying.
There is a place that did just open up. I was at there was an art crawl. There's an old there's there's an old factory here in town. It used to be the Uniroyal tire plant back in the day, and in the 80s it closed down. It was but it's still this kind of like very aesthetic, kind of like how the Rainier Brewery looks,
Yeah.
very pleasing. And now it's like a lot of shops and artisans a lot of artists or just like little shops and stuff inside there. So they had an art crawl the other night, and I went, and there is a little apothecary that just opened up. It's called Moonbees. It's
Nice.
really sweet, and it is like a little Tenzing Momo, like a very, very much smaller version of Tenzing Momo, and nowhere near as colorful and wild as
Wow,
Tenzing
that
Momo, but
Tessie Momo's 1 in a million.
yeah, there's only one. There's
Yeah.
only one. And but their selection of herbs was amazing. And I was like, finally there's a place where, I got
See, every city needs one.
all this Spanish moss I got all this Spanish
Love
moss.
it.
You cannot find Spanish moss anywhere in the state.
Right.
And the woman that harvested it, I got to talk to her. She goes down to Georgia around this time every year because it's cold as fuck here and you gotta have an escape. So she harvests it and she like prays, and I mean she's really intentional when she's like singing her songs and praying it and doing all the magical working. So it's really good potent stuff. So a place did just open up, and they do have some readers. And so I'm really excited to kind of keep dropping in.
That's
and
cool.
Kind of haunting them a little bit and be like, hi, I'm Jelina. Hi, is there can I volunteer? I can
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have experience. You worked at Tennessee Mo. You know,
yeah, that was
experience.
great. Cut my teeth for sure. But
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that in the future, for sure. If it's online, but I'm really into making the potions, like the Damiano.
Or maybe you can make your potions and sell them there.
Maybe I will.
Yeah,
maybe I will.
I'm always for you. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? It never hurts to ask. And I think, let's talk about that because we're coming to this time in 2023 where 2023 is a 7 year, as you know, and this is a very magical year for many people, especially Capricorns, Earth signs, because we have been in this cycle, especially Capricorns, where we have been past 7, 8 years. We've been in this retrograde of struggle, and now the universe is saying that was your time to really learn some things, and now this year it's time to share your gifts with the world, basically. And so a lot of people are feeling this shift this year. And plus, we had COVID, and people are being able now to come out again.
Right.
But I'm excited about this year in the sense that I feel, and a lot of people don't feel this probably because they watch too much news and have so much fear in their life because of the programming, but there is a sense of hope and a sense of change and a sense where these little shops like in your town are starting to open up, where people are starting to realize that that we work with the earth and the universe together, and we need these tools and these people who know this stuff anyway. And so it is expanding. Don't you feel that too? I mean, we're coming out of this bad cycle.
100%. And I know you're a Capricorn, so I know you're probably feeling that, especially. And I'm a Capricorn rising, so I feel that too. I think collectively, there's kind of like a feeling of people going, if not now, when?
Right.
If not now, when? God damn it, it's happening now. And like I'm seeing that, because I see, like 3 or 4 clients every day, 7 days a week. And every day I do an intake. How are you doing? What is going on in your life? What are some emotional themes? How are you feeling in your body? Every day I'm asking at least 3 or 4 people the same questions. And so I see this trend of exactly what you just said. And a lot of it, like, I'm doing this now because time is so finite. And time is that one thing that we never get back. It's our most precious gift. I'm loving this culture of what was called soft quitting, where people are like not giving all of their heart and soul.
Oh shit! You just froze again.
Which was lost. Oh, am I back?
Yeah. Now you're back.
Giving all their time and energy and dedication to like a company that in the end really doesn't have their best interest, and people are kind of reclaiming their like time and their sovereignty and their rest too. I think that's really important. Like growing up in the Midwest, as a young person, there's, the Midwest work ethic where people take pride in like really going that extra mile and that extra step. And that's great, but like without pay or without, and like breaking your back just to kind of like be like, yeah, I worked so hard. I worked so hard. But in the end of the day, it's like, well, where did that really get you?
I agree.
I mean, there's working hard. That's great, especially if you're working for yourself or for your family or your community. But it's like taking that away from like the CEO or the big business that, like Walmart. You're working for Walmart and you're putting in all this overtime and shit. Where like they don't care about you.
They don't.
If you die, they're going to replace you with like someone else in less than 24 hours.
Well, also they don't pay people the wages they can make, and I mean, there's a whole, you know, a whole system of a breakdown in our American society as far as that goes, and people have been so fearful of being homeless, and they keep us that way. They don't pay the wages, and
Right.
they wonder why people don't work, and people have gone to OnlyFans and other social media outlets and become influencers and whatnot, because hell, you can make more money and you don't have to do anything except stay home and do a camera shoot, once a day, and you can pay your bills and travel the world and do whatever you want and not make $16 an hour and pay $2,000 a month for rent. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And more power to the people that are figuring a way out that, to less struggle, work smarter, not harder, all that good
Well,
stuff.
it's happening, with the government is taking over our food supply, it's all happening. And this is also going to another place, which I wanted your opinion on is, for years and years, I talked about my spirit guide Aliana and the messages she was giving me about the earth and, the planet. And I was like, oh man, that sounds crazy. But it's actually true. Everything, because other healers have met these beings. And anyway, we're heading for a big change. Let's just leave it at that. And people have to be conscious of this change, and they have to be consciously aware of what is really truly happening. And it is the strongest will survive. That's a fact, but it will be in our conscious mind, if that makes sense.
It does. Turn off the news and start growing your own food.
Yeah.
That's what I say to all that. Like, step away from the news. I do not watch the news anymore, and why? It's all just fear programming,
It really
I
is.
want to stay informed with what's going on in the world around me, but not in so much that I'm just getting programmed with like a fear conversation day in and day out. I'm putting my energy into like my family around me, my immediate friend circle, my business circle, and yes, there's like 6 feet of snow on the ground, but I'm getting ready to sprout some seeds here next month, and I've got like a whole room dedicated for getting my seeds sprouted. And as soon as that weather gets a little bit nice, those babies are going in the ground. So turn off the news and grow your own food, and tend to your community circle, and that's where we're going to make some really big change.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, we are coming 2023 is going to be a year where their reality is going to change a bit. And that's what I get, and by 2027, for sure, our reality is going to be completely different than what we know. It's going to be more common for us to see hybrids. The hybrid people are here. They're talking, they're doing interviews on YouTube. They're out. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind we're living amongst half alien breeds, because I've seen them.
Yeah.
They're highly intelligent. They know they can explain scientifically what is exactly going on with the earth and the universe. And it's all the same. It's all the same. We've been hearing for years and years. It's been scary for me, but also like fascinating for me, because I feel this sense of excitement around this change that's coming, and these beings coming around that will change things, but it's also, you have the dark beings too, which goes into this theory of the reptilian, what people call them reptilian. I call them fear-based energy suckers, where they literally feed off the energy because that's what keeps them alive, is fear energy and the negative energy that we think of ourselves. Like, for example, they will literally go into your thought process because they can mind control, just like the good entities can, right? Because when I talk to spirit and beings, their mouths aren't moving. It's all mental telepathy. It's all done through thought processing, same as the dark spirit. And I found myself in this place, Jelina, where, especially after I was almost killed by Birch, that idiot I married, as I call him, who's passed away now, thank God. I know that sounds harsh to people, but you just don't understand until you've been there. That being said, I was really possessed by the darkness. There's no doubt in my mind that the demons got me, that they took control because I was becoming such a powerful healer in the world that they took me down. They did, no doubt. And I left them because it was easier for me, because my whole life that's been, Darius used to laugh at me, my only shaman teacher. He used to say, Faye, you're the only human being, spiritual being I've ever met that started in the darkness. Like you thrive in it. And I do. I mean, that's where I've learned the best of the demons. I'm not afraid of demons. I know all their names.
Well, that's the thing too, is that they're two sides of the same coin,
Right.
I mean, you can't have the dark without the light. You can't have winter without summer. You can't have, the moon without the sun. So
right.
Dark and evil, yes, that is a real thing. There are evil,
totally.
Dark. That's a real thing. But on the opposite side is the angelic. And so having the training and the wherewithal and the groundation.
Shit, you froze again.
Into the fear makes all the difference when you're dealing with that, with those kind of energies. But like what we were talking about alcohol just like a little bit ago, like they call it spirits for a reason, and it opens up, you get opened up, and a lot of negative stuff can come and glom in because it's looking for an opportunity to lash.
And I started drinking heavily after that attack, is when I really started drinking. And then I ended up in New Orleans, and I'll tell you what, the city of New Orleans, I love it so much, and I wish I could live there. Honestly, I miss living there. But the truth of the matter is, it's a beautiful city, but I call it a beautiful disaster in the sense that it was easy for me to hide my addiction there because most people there are alcoholics, addicted to that party life and that lifestyle, and it has the highest crime rate in the United States. I heard that the other day. I'm not sure if that's a fact or not, but that being said, and I believe it is equated to all the partying, the alcohol, the do you understand what I'm saying? That is a proven, yeah.
Oh, I do. Even though Eau Claire is not a big city, it's only 70,000 people, it's still in Wisconsin. I'm going to open up a little ginger ale here. The alcoholism that is off the hook here. And when I had quit drinking for 2 years, and then I moved back here and had seen, a bunch of friends from high school that I hadn't seen in a long time, summertime, and everything in Wisconsin is revolves around like, hey, you want a beer, or just it's drinking, and I was like, I can start having a beer. I can have a beer or two here, and then it just got off the rails pretty. It took like a year or two. But then like I went to a breakup, and I was living alone, and I was in winter in Wisconsin. It was dark at 4 o'clock. My heart was broken. I'm pouring myself like my third vodka drink of the night. Chain smoking on my porch, like 20 below zero, and I was so miserable. And I just was like, this has gotta stop at some point. It's gonna take me down. And I was definitely, there was definitely some dark shit coming in during that time. And thank God for my roots in. I've always been connected to spirit. Ever since I was a little girl, always been drawn to it, interested in knowing that I was connected.
Goes again.
And psychedelic journey work that I've done. So I know it is real. I have no doubt in my mind that it is real because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've experienced it with my own soul. That helps claw my way out. And
Me too. Spirits always save my life. Always.
Yeah, it can be hard when everyone around you is, I wouldn't say being thoughtless, but just not very conscious, just not, I'll like go out to the bar to meet some friends, and it's ridiculous how unconscious, like everyone just feels so unconscious. They're having a good time, but it just feels like Babylon, it's just like, I'm in Babylon, and Babylon's falling.
Me too. I mean, it's hard to have these conversations with people. It's hard to talk about, the star children, the star beings, the hybrids, the spiritual, because it gets so, and then the science of it, because, I equivalent science and spirit. They both work hand in hand, if you ask me. So, because it's energy based and it's thought process based. It's how you program your brain. It's all that. And what you allow to see, yourself to see in the world. And the other day I was talking to my son about this. My son and I can have these conversations. And I was like, I asked him, do you think that when you're thinking negative all the time, you're just always seeing the negative? Because when I was thinking negative all the time, I just kept seeing negative things all the time, like people fighting, people get killed. And then now that I'm, reprogramming my brain and I'm seeing positive things now, like, oh, okay, yeah, people are being nicer to me and asking about spirit. I'm like at random and it's just bizarre. And he goes, yeah, Mom, of course. I mean, it's what you're putting out truly is what you see.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. It's so
it's
simple but complex.
Yeah, no, it's the law of attraction. It's quantum field. Do you remember that movie that came out? It's been a while now, maybe like 15 years ago. What the Bleep Do We Know? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great way to explain the quantum field and like, what you think about expands. And it's so simple, but it's just science. And man, is it cool. But yeah, like you start off the day where you stub your toe and then you get the toothpaste on your shirt, and then the shirt cuts you off in traffic, and then it's like, oh, day goes to shit.
Yeah, my life sucks. The boss yells at you, fuck you, it's just, yeah, it is. And so every day now I've been just getting up and like reprogramming my mind and starting off with, either opening up my chakras or starting off in a positive vibration and creating a more positive way of looking at things. Because unfortunately I have the really great ability to look at go really dark. Like I can just be the worst on myself.
Me too. And like we were saying, it's a full moon today too, so like, it's a little bit, things are a little intense or emotional. Like today was a good day, but like my ex-husband called me today and it was great. Like we just talked for a little bit and it was really uplifting. It was good. There was nothing bad about it. Eric and I are in a really good space energetically. And he was just checking in, how you doing? And it was really a lighthearted conversation. And then on my way home, I was reflecting on the conversation, and I just started bawling in the car, just like, what if we had worked out? Or like, oh, why can't I make?
It's like the Tommy Lee and Pam story.
I connected with that energy.
Yeah. I honestly can say I've never had a love like that. Except with my son, maybe, but that's that love I have for my son. It's not romantic by any means, but that powerful love, psychic connection. I've had it with my grandmother and my son, but I've never had it in a romantic sense like Pam and Tommy had. I mean, because they did have it. You could tell. I mean, they got married within. Yeah, I mean, it was right away with them, and you could look at them and see it. I mean, and that's powerful, and not too many people get that,
So to get it, to be able to experience it, even if you can't sustain it, it's still a gift. But yeah, I mean, I was having like I had to have a cry in the car, like the 10-minute car, because it only takes 10 minutes to get anywhere in this town, which is another really great. I haven't used my horn in 3 years. It
I
takes
have to
kind of
come visit you. I have to see this place.
oh, honey, I've got a spare room for you. You're gonna love it. It's filled with crystal singing bowls and gongs, and you
Nice.
can just sit there.
I'll wait till
But
the
yeah,
snow is gone and I have some vacation time coming. I get 3 weeks or 120 hours a year. So,
oh,
uh,
yeah, definitely it's nice because when it's nice weather here, it is gorgeous. It really is. But yeah, I just had my little cry in the car, and then I was like, okay, all right, that was good. Ooh, get that out, and when
move
I
on.
pull in, my wolf was waiting in the window for me with his little face, like she's home, and but yeah, I probably cry. I was gonna say once a day, but that's exaggerating. I definitely cry several times a week. So it is, but I have a cancer, so like my go-to emotion is tears, and it's kind of like having an orgasm for me. Like having a good cry, I'm like, okay, all right, just like clear it out, clear out, clear out the energy, and it's I just sometimes don't even know what I'm crying about, but it just it's like a cleansing, it's like taking a good
Well,
shit.
crying is very good for us, actually. It releases all that energy. And I cry a lot too, not because of my past, because I'm kind of over that, but I cry about the world, honestly. I get real emotional about it. Like, hate seeing people suffer. It just breaks my heart. I was with my daughter not too long ago and we saw this homeless person and she kind of looked at me and I said, that's someone's kid, man. That's like someone loved that baby, hopefully. I mean, at one time, at least, they had, and I can't imagine my child being out sleeping under a bridge at 23 years old or whatever that kid was. You know, and that's what I cry about. Or
Was that you
that's
that sent
about
me
it.
that? Was that you that sent me the meme the other day about tears of grief fall
Yeah.
from? Oh, that was powerful. So tears from grief fall from the corner of your eye. Tears of joy come out here.
Yeah.
But what was the one that came
Empathy, I
out?
think.
Empathy comes from the middle of the eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, that's so true because I've been going through some grieving stuff. I'm still processing my last relationship because Cole and I were like back and forth for
Uh-oh, lost you.
and this past July. So I'm still processing it because it takes me fucking forever to process relationships. And but yeah, the tears are always coming from here.
Yeah.
The tears are coming from here. That thing about like when I'm with a good friend and we're just like laughing so hard that we're
Me too.
crying.
Yeah.
The
It's
tears
all
are
true.
coming from
Yeah. Our body tells us a lot,
yeah,
honestly, and we
really
have to learn to listen to it more. I know I do, and that's another goal I have this year is to pay more attention to what my body is saying, and
have
yeah, the tears are powerful.
have
Um,
you seen the images of the tears that under like a microscope they look at like tears that are cried in grief and like the structure of tears that are cried because of grief, tears that are cried because of joy, and like how the crystalline structure of the tear is completely different. I'll just send you an image of that. It's
yeah,
really cool.
do.
Yeah, it's a completely different image under a microscope. What's going on in the fluid of the tear? Really neat.
That's
Excuse
so
me.
crazy, right? That's so crazy. And
Yeah.
speaking of that theory, they did that water theory, where you talk to water
Yeah.
and if you give it encouragement, it stays crystal clear. If you talk down to it, it turns muddy, that type of
Yeah.
thing. And that's a true story, and that's pretty crazy stuff when you start thinking about it. That just shows you though the power that we are. It's so amazing. And I went to the eye
Right.
doctor and she gave me took a picture of the inside of my eye and it looks just like the universe.
Yes, it does. It looks
It's
just
so
like the universe.
crazy.
Yeah.
There's my
Yeah.
God,
We
that
are.
looks like the universe.
Yeah, we're just a reflection of the universe. Our whole
Yeah,
body is a wonderful cosmos, and you look at an actual cell too. Like there's a whole universe inside a cell. The way that we reflect, it's just like as they say, as above, so below, as within, so without. We are just reflections of the great I am. in human
I,
form. We're stuff made of stars. It's just so wild. So I try not to get like, too caught up in stuff like the news and politics and all the shit that they try to put out to polarize us. Are you vaccinated? Are you not vaccinated? Are you Democratic? Are you Republican? Are you this? Are you that? Like all this polarization that they try to keep us from remembering that we're all just little star forms, and we're not here for a long time. We're very powerful. We're very, very powerful. But we just get
yeah,
distracted with, our 9 to 5 jobs and our prescription medication and, all the
right.
stupid shit really doesn't
Making
matter.
TikTok videos.
And the what?
I said people get obsessed with making TikTok videos.
The TikTok videos, yeah.
Yeah, they just want to make, that becomes their whole life, and that's, and some of them are pretty good, but it shouldn't become your whole life.
No, yeah, it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. Every once in a while, I like to have a little ice cream, but man, I can't eat a whole gallon every night. It'll kill
Oh
me. But
God,
yeah,
no.
it's a TikTok video. But yeah, just to be absorbed in it. The only thing you should really be truly absorbed in is like your meditation practice,
Yeah,
because this is so temporary and this is the dream. This right now, this is the dream. This little dream ends. Spirit goes on and 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 on. And there is
crazy
no
stuff. Yeah,
time, no such thing as time. And so purify now and like get your heart and your soul together and get it right now. Be kind to your neighbor now. Love yourself now. Adopt a pet. Mentor a child.
do
Grow
big
your own
things
food.
now. Yeah,
Yep. Live
do
a
big
life
things.
that is as clean and pure as possible, because once this little dream is over, your consciousness never dies. It just keeps going on and on and on, and that's what you're going to be stuck with. And we create heaven and hell in every single moment. So
Yeah,
choose. And so when we're stuck in like I was referencing my friend that is in a really negative loop right now, and when I'm talking to them, they are living in hell. They are completely living in hell because all they choose to see is everything negative that's happening around them. And they don't look at the blessings that they've been given. They don't look at the people that are trying to support and love them and show them kindness, mercy, grace, forgiveness, empathy. All they see is the bad. And they are they're just wasting their precious, precious time in this precious human form
right.
in negativity and in literal hell. And I could look at all the bad things going on in my life right now, but all I see right now is like my little house and I get another day with my elder dog who's gonna pass soon, and every morning I wake up to her and I'm like, "Here, one more day with you, baby girl." I've got a fridge full of food. I got a pantry full of food. The house is at 70 degrees. I've got the money to pay the bills. Like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got so much to be grateful
Yeah,
for,
we do. All of us do, if we look at it. I mean, some of the most grateful people I've ever met in my life have had nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
yeah, it is. And I try to tell people that all the time. As you know, I'm a psychic medium before I was anything, and I was always blown away how people were so impressed by that. When I was like, God, that's so easy to do, though. Like talking to people who aren't here anymore is very easy to do, and I don't understand why more people don't do it. It's not that big of a deal. And so when people made it such a big deal around me, I just thought it was weird. I always did. I was like, it's science. We're energy. It's a 1, 2, 3 simple procedure. We're energy. Our physical body holds the energy. When the body is gone, the energy continues on because energy never stops. So
That's right.
I'm just able to talk to that energy that isn't stopping. And it's that simple. And a lot of people could probably do it if they let go of the idea of what they were taught the afterlife is. And because movies and stuff have made ghosts all scary, and talking to dead people is really weird or scary, and it's satanic, whatever it is, it's basic science. It's not that big of a deal. What I'm more impressed with are the abilities we have to really change everything we were taught how to be. That's what's more impressive to me than anything that, talking to the dead, being a psychic, whatever, who cares? That's easy stuff. What's difficult is surviving this journey of life.
Yeah.
And I'm just so impressed by the fact that I've done it, because I didn't have the best chances in life. I didn't have a great childhood, like many, many people out there. We've been, especially a child of the 70s. It was horrible. And in foster care, it was awful. And when you grow up and nobody cares about you, you're programmed not to love yourself. When you grow up in foster care, or you have parents that don't pay attention to you or love you, whether you're in foster care or not, even if you live with them, you could still suffer that abuse of neglect. You grow up a certain way. You have to have love. And I look at my cousins who have my aunt and uncle as parents, and they had such love in their life, and they grew up, and they're totally different people than me. Loving, kind, amazing people. And I think I am too, but how do I word it? I'm more survival. They're more comfortable. Do you understand what I mean? It's like they had love. So I always try to tell people, if you can do anything, just give love, whether it's a smile to a cashier who you can see is having a bad day. How many times have I done that? How many times have I stopped at a cashier buying my stuff, and I feel like, oh my God, you're having a bad day. And I say, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I remember this one time I was in Texas, and I was at Ross, and I was buying something, and the cashier was just not having a good day. And she was this beautiful Black girl. And she should have been a model. And I said, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You should be a model or something. Like, you're so pretty. Your skin was just amazing. And she looked up from the register and looked at me and got tears in her eyes and said, oh my God, you think so? I said, yes, I think so. And she goes, thank you. I needed to hear that today. It's those little moments. And then, and this other time I caught this Karen screaming at this poor girl at a thrift stop because, girl, don't get me around Karens. And I was just livid because I was like, what the fuck are you doing to this girl? But she was just going off, and I could see why people go off on Karens, because I'd never seen one before in action. I was like, oh my God, they actually exist. And the lady left, and I looked at the girl, and the girl is crying because this woman upset her so much. I go, honey, you do not let this woman take your light and power. You claim it right fucking now. She's crazy as hell. Let her fucking go. Look at you. You're amazing. And the cashier was like, oh my God. And then I was leaving the store a few minutes later, and I see her, and I wave at her, and she's smiling. She's like, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you just keep going. It's those little things.
Yes.
That make a difference, I think. And I think if we pay attention, we can see a lot.
And it didn't cost you anything. It didn't take your energy or your power away from you for 1 second. It just took a mindful moment. That's it. And we can just be having these moments constantly with each other. Why don't we? Why do we stay locked in our, and holding, yeah, you have always been that kind of person that will tell another woman, you're beautiful. I've been with you many times that you've just stopped a beautiful woman and said, oh my God, honey, you are so beautiful. And just to watch their whole countenance change, their whole energy shift.
And I mean it when I say it. And I tell men that too. One time I was on a break at Tenzing Momo, and I was walking downtown, and there was construction, and I saw this gorgeous, handsome man around my age. He was probably in his late 40s, early 50s. He had the graying. And I was like, I walked past him, and I said, oh my God, you are so handsome. And I just kept walking. And I turned around, and he had stopped, and he turned around, and he goes, hey. And I go, yes. And he goes, I haven't heard that in years. And he goes, thank you.
there's probably moments where he still stops and thinks about that time
Yeah.
where this beautiful tattooed woman was like, "You're gorgeous."
And it
And
doesn't mean anything except acknowledging someone's beauty. And thank you for acknowledging that I do that, because I do that quite often. And I'll be walking with somebody and we're talking and I see someone beautiful and I will literally run across the street and say, "Oh my God, you look so pretty." Especially if the woman has put effort into her dress, into her makeup. I am going to notice that. Or if a man is dressed nice and has put effort into it, I'm going to notice that and go, "Wow, you're stunning." Like, wow, thank you for bringing that to my face.
Just having this conversation with you tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I do that at least 3 times.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least 3 times tomorrow that I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep on doing that. I'm going to do the Faye. I'm going to bring a little Faye into Eau Claire. I notice when I go traveling, when I travel, especially like when I'm down in Central America, people are constantly like, and it's not just the men.
New Orleans too, by the way.
What's that?
New Orleans too. I brought two friends from New Orleans that never been there. And one of the girls after 2 days was like, "Oh my God, everyone here is so friendly." Like, we walk down the street, people are like, "Good morning, miss, you beautiful."
Yeah, I know, right?
Who doesn't want to hear that every day?
New Orleans is a very special place, though. It's like when you're traveling around in the U.S., like you go to like different cities, and it's like you're kind of all in the same place, I mean, Seattle has the mountains, and New York is New York, but like you go to like different cities and different towns, and you could kind of just be in the same place. But New Orleans is like, it smells different. The architecture, I mean, it's
people
just
are different.
Fabulous country unto itself that like it doesn't even feel like it's a part of the U.S. And it's that wonderful, it's that wonderful cultural, it's New Orleans. There's no place like it.
No place like it. I agree with you, but it is. I always call it a beautiful disaster, like I said, but it is nice to have acknowledgement. People like to be acknowledged. That's what we miss. That's what, and I've also told people they're really pretty and they just walk past me with no acknowledgement at all. And that's fine too,
You're not saying it to get a response.
No, not at all. Not at all. I say it because I mean it, and I think they're amazingly, beautiful, and I can visualize a lot of them in my head. Oh my God, I saw this amazing, gorgeous woman. I actually posted her on my Instagram and everything because she allowed me to take photos of her. I mean, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen at the park. And I stopped her and I was like, "Oh my God." And then I saw another girl who was more goth and a little overweight, and she wasn't as confident. And I was like, "God, you're so beautiful. I want to take your picture." Sometimes I just grab my camera and go take pictures of people. And so yeah, I enjoy doing that. You're right. Thanks. I didn't realize I did it that much, but now that I think about it, I actually do it a lot.
It's great because it's infectious, because then that person is going to, offer their smile and their heart to the person that's checking them out at the grocery store. They're going to hold the door open for someone that they might not have held the door before, or you know what I mean? Just or have more patience with someone's back at the parking spot. Little.
Yeah. If we're kinder to people, the world is kinder to us, and I do believe that. Like I was saying, what we project is what we see, I guess, and and I want to see more beauty in the world, so I'm going to see more beauty in the world and acknowledge it when I do, because I'm so grateful that I get to see it, And
thank you for the beauty that you do, like through your photography, through your art, through your podcasting. Like you've created so much art and beauty. Through all like the awesome music you've created in your life, the rad bands you've been in, and all of that stuff. Like you've been. A lot of people don't realize I was in bands. That's how I started everything. I was panhandling there up on Hillcrest at the Hillcrest grocery store in Capitol Hill, and David Patterson came out. I didn't know who he was at the time. This beautiful man with it looked like a Greek god sculpted. It was in the 1980s, and he was just gorgeous gay guy on Capitol Hill.
And he walked by me and goes, "Oh, honey, you are way too pretty to be out here. You come with me." And that was
Oh,
the day my life changed. He took me in and then introduced me to all these beautiful gay men, and they took me in as their little sister, kind of. And they put me in punk rock bands. They created my image. They created my clothes. They gave me courage. They took me off my meds and turned me on to marijuana.
yes.
They were everything to me. And then unfortunately AIDS hit and they all died. But they did make me who I am. Before this, Jelina, you wouldn't believe it. Like, people wouldn't believe who I was before these guys found me. I was the most afraid, shy, never spoke to anyone, afraid to public speak. And these
You,
gay guys found me in the 80s and just were like, "Oh yeah, this is our pet project, honey."
the throat chakra, honey. The throat
Right.
chakra open. And then you got that like amazing lotus in the fucking, what is
Right.
it, your throat? What's on your throat? Let me see your throat.
The lotus, the truth will
Yeah.
set you free.
Yes. Your throat chakra is open forever now,
Yeah.
so ain't no closing it.
They've got me in a punk rock band. They got me doing everything. Yeah, they were awesome. I was going
You know,
in singing punk rock in bands before I was 21, so I was able to get into a lot of the bars that nobody else could get into at my age. And I got snuck in a lot. I mean, I had a good time in Seattle. I had a good time and met a lot of rock stars. I hung out with them. We were all a part of that in Seattle. Lane Staley used to babysit Dylan for me. Lane Staley used to babysit my son.
oh, I hope you get to do her when you're around
Lane Staley
Dylan.
was a wonderful fucking human being, man. He was kind and sweet and genuine and supportive. He always supported my music and was just so good. So good. But yeah, yeah, Seattle's a beautiful disaster too, I guess. That was a trip down memory lane.
The last time I was in Seattle was a couple of years ago when I had to go back to play massage space, and because with the pandemic, like there's no way that I was going to be able to keep flying back and forth because I was doing that like fly back every 6 weeks to see clients, and so anyway, I had to go back, and it was so different. Oh my goodness, like I was kind of like, I'm glad I left what I did. I guess I technically moved away at the end of 2016, so it's been a while now. But it's not my city anymore. It'll always be like where I really grew up. And I miss it. I need to come visit because I really miss the Pacific Northwest. But oh, Seattle, you're like, it's just like a lover, like a lover that we've grown apart.
Well, my friend Daphne came up from California, and we used to live on Capitol Hill, and we went up there just to reminisce. And it is zombie town. There are no more flamboyant gay men walking around, no more leather men, no more nothing. Yeah, it's sad to see that community has faded out up there. But
all things have to change and all things shift,
right.
and they'll probably, down the line there probably will be another resurgence. And
I hope so.
thank God that you got to live it when it was.
I'm so grateful. Yeah.
And I got to live, I got to live in it when it was my it. It was really the time that I was there was so special, so fucking special. And then like all three loves of my life I met in Seattle. My best friends, like and speaking of tattoos, my little crows on my wrist that I got.
Oh yeah.
I had a Facebook memory pop up today. Today, I think it was 13 years ago. Was today is the day 13 years ago that I came to Austin to visit you and got these tattoos.
God, was it that long ago?
Let's see. Maybe it was 10 years. No. Yeah, no, it's about 10. It wasn't 13.
It had to be 10.
I think it was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But today was the day that I flew into Austin after like my heart was so broken, and you and I
my God, we got so drunk.
We got so drunk.
So
but,
drunk.
And
then we got tattooed. You got tattooed.
But that was just like, I thought it was really awesome and fun, and I'm trying to look it up here right now just to like see when it actually was.
That is crazy.
But I was like,
we are in on the same day. Huh.
Yeah, like I'm doing this podcast with Faye today, and like 10 years ago today was when, oh here it is. Was when I landed in Austin, and Faye like mopped up my tears and
I
took
loved
me around.
Austin. Yeah.
Oh man, that was great. And I have never. That was my first and only time that I've been to Austin.
Yeah,
So
I love Austin. I loved the progressiveness of the city. It was way more progressive than Seattle at the time. I loved the music, the culture, the food. That was my kind. I'm a Southern girl at heart, honey. There is no doubt in my mind I was living in the South. Oh my
nine
God,
9 years ago
9
today.
years. Wow.
Well, yeah, that'd be crazy. So yeah, here we are full circle, coming back together
Full
on a
circle.
full moon in Leo.
Exactly where it's supposed to be. And I am going to plan a trip to come see you because I am looking at, vacation at time this
We
summertime.
have witnesses. We have witnesses now that are listening to this.
I
So
will be in
you're
Wisconsin.
protecting us.
I think it would be cool to teach a class with you or hold a workshop of some sort while I'm there. I might as well put it to use.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
we could do a psychic medium show if you want. We could do a workshop where it's really fun. I do this workshop where I have people draw a picture of what they think their spirit looks like, what they're feeling at the time, whatever, and then I read it. And that's always a hit workshop. People love that one because they get to do art and then they get a reading.
Let's honestly, I want to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
Because yes, I know the venue. I know some other people that would collaborate and sponsor. I can see it all.
It's gonna happen. I already see it happening, so it's gonna happen.
Yay to us.
I get the month of August.
That's really the best time to be here. It's hot. There's lots of rivers to like go through everyone like
Do an outside workshop.
Yes, baby. I'm in. I've got a big backyard with lots of flowers, and I'll be growing the food. Do it in the backyard. It'll be fabulous.
It'd be awesome. I would draw one card for you, and then we're gonna call it a day. And this is just so much fun. I want to have you on again. I love doing the podcast and channel because it's helping me reconnect with people and also allowing people to see other healers and meet other women and men who do the work on different levels and different tools that other people can use to resonate.
Yes.
Hey, Jelina, we're going to draw to see who is watching over you.
Oh,
Who is your guide this year? This for 2023 for Jelina. Who's going to be watching her today? Beautiful full moon. Jelina has a lot to see a book. See a book around you. It's more imagery of a book. It's not a storytelling book. I see Spirit is guiding you to a book of images. You're going to crack up. Lord Ganesh.
what? Is that around here?
Is that funny? That's your guide.
Always. My remover of
That
obstacles.
is so funny. And that is saying infinite abundance. That's what they're offering you this year. Infinite abundance. I love that. That's so funny, though.
Thank you. I will take it because I really, after 5 years of nursing a broken heart, like I feel like I'm it, and I'm facing some serious fears and challenges that I've been avoiding for a long time.
That's what I just did.
Yep, and it's there's no way out but through, and once you are through, it's like all the shiny. So I invite all that abundance in because, baby, I have been doing the motherfucking work.
Me too, honey. I've been doing that cellular work, and we'll talk about that next time. I'll talk to you about cellular energy work. I'll do some on you when I see you. It's pretty amazing. Winter's dream, gestation period. That's something you're coming out of. That's your past.
Absolutely.
That's where you isolated and studied. And now you're gathering around the power of community. This is your future. So it is. I see this too with you too. You are building community. There's no doubt. And I feel that you are going to do workshops. But here's another thing I feel. I feel like you're going to do a book. But the book has, I feel, imagery. It could be an herbal book, a simple picture herbal book where you just draw lavender and say, this is what this is for. This is, and this is how you use this, or whatever it is. It's an image book you collaborate on. So looking for that in the next couple of years. But yeah, you are building community.
What?
I said, Spirit's like, you have to draw another card because there's two energies here. When I was talking about this, I pulled a card which is White Eagle, which is actually my guide. But this is a guide for you too, because White Eagle is actually an ancestor spirit. So what this is saying is that this year is I get emotional about White Eagle, honestly, because White Eagle is this energy I've worked with ever since I was little, and it's an energy that it's ancestors. It's saying, you know what, you have, not only do you have this Ganesh around, which is a great universal energy of love, but you also have this earth energy here that is saying your ancestors are here and they're going to help you get through this life because that's what they do. And now that you've opened this sacred space for them to do that, they are allowed to come in. And it is about coming to your ancestors and remembering that they have that your DNA, your cells are connected to your ancestors, and we can call on White Eagle to come in and guide those ancestors to the project and to your life, which is awesome. You got great energy this year. I mean, powerful shit.
I deeply resonate with it, and White Eagle especially. It's another story for another time, but White Eagle has come in many times for me and has been a very dear guide. And I wouldn't even be here in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, if my grandmother hadn't come to me in ceremony and said, "You're moving back here." So ancestor energy is very strong. And what's fascinating is that of all the places that I could have lived in this town, Eau Claire is not huge, but it's definitely not small. Of all the houses I could have picked to live in, the house that I'm in is directly across the street from the house that my mom grew up in, and is my uncle lives there now. But it's the house, you know, that my grandmother raised all 9 children in, and
wow,
there's so much story, there's so much lineage, there's so much like generational trauma. There's a lot. So to be like, every morning I walk by my mom's house, like her childhood home, and the house that, you know, I kind of grew up in too, with grandma and grandpa and stuff. So it's really interesting to see how this is all unfolded in a complete divine plan. And I just feel trusted.
I love that. I love that you're there. I think, I mean, I've just seen you grow so much, and the years I've known you, like you said, you were just this innocent little girl coming in and just exploring the world, like a little girl from the country in a big city when I met you. And to see you blossom into this, first a massage therapist and then a yoga instructor, and then this keep growing into this sound healer, and all this energy work you're doing has been so great to witness. You know, I love witnessing that journey in people because it just proves to me that spirit works, that this stuff is real, that I'm not alone, and that many women go through this on different levels, but we're all connected. And I've always held a special place in my heart for you. You know that I have you tattooed on me, one of the feathers on my, you know. And I always look at that and I send you good energy and a dare, you know, and I hold you both close to my heart very much. And you've always just been, I'm getting emotional, but a very genuine friend to me.
Same, Faye. It's been a pleasure and an honor to watch you on your journey too.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of parallels in our story. And so I think like we see each other's souls.
Yeah.
And I see you. I see you like like as someone that I've known for many lifetimes. So I'm
Right.
really happy. I'm happy we've never lost each other in this one. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
me
for having
too, because it's easy to do.
me. It
Yeah,
is.
it's very easy to lose people in this time, especially if you live in different states. But yes, so we will talk again and we will plan workshops and all kinds of fun things. So I'm gonna,
Yeah, but wait, and it's not going to be all talk. Now that I live in Wisconsin, I'm not in Seattle anymore. So when we talk about stuff, we get it done.
it's
Get it
actually
done.
it's on
Together.
TikTok about the Seattle freeze. The
Yeah.
people who don't live here came here and then they talk about it on TikTok. I'm not kidding you. And it is a genuine thing, Seattle freeze. It's very difficult. And you're right. You'll make plans with someone in Seattle and they will cancel because they are sick. You,
They just
if it does
disappear.
happen, it's like, oh my God, it's actually happening. But you just go
Yeah.
into
No,
it knowing it's probably going to cancel so you don't get too excited. Yeah.
right.
Just go
Oh
by
yeah,
yourself.
I got crestfallen a lot in those first couple of years in Seattle because I didn't understand how that worked. And then slowly, like after maybe 5 years of living in Seattle, I too became one of those people that
Me too.
made a lot of social promises that I never fulfilled.
Me too.
So, but now I'm here and we get her done. So I'm gonna get her done with you. And I love you so much. Thanks for
I
having
love
me
you
on the
too.
podcast.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to the Tattooed Psychic. And Jelina, I will put your links. Tell people, do you have a website? How do they reach you?
Yes, I am at fifthwavebodywork.com, and that's the number 5th, fifthwavebodywork.com. And all my links and my bio information. I'm Jelina Howard _LMP on Instagram and Jelina Howard on Facebook. And you can find all my contact information and book appointments and all that kind of stuff with me that way.
Awesome. This has been so great. One of my favorites so far, and I love you. And thanks for listening to the Tattooed Psychic. If you like this video and you want to subscribe and like it, that would be awesome. And I look forward to talking to you all again. Thanks for watching the Tattooed Psychic.